You know what time it is? It's time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop from Mr. Cooper, from Mr. Cooper, from Mr. Cooper. Hang with Mr. Coop, with Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper, with Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop from Mr. Cooper, from Mr. Cooper. Yeah.
Welcome to the Bit Scoop with Coop. I'm your host, Coop. Season 10 still going strong, people. If you haven't, make sure you go to the website, thebitscoopwithcoop.com, to catch episodes from Season 1 all the way up to now. Big shout outs to everybody that's watching on Facebook, facebook.com/The Big Scoop with Coop. Big shout outs to everybody that's watching on Instagram at Big Scoop with Coop. And big shout outs to everybody that's watching on YouTube, youtube.com/The Big Scoop with Coop. Make sure you click like and subscribe so you don't miss one episode of The Big Scoop with Coop. All right, people, enough about me. Today's guest, you have seen her on Brea. She's doing big things on that NBC hit show that you can catch on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. And she plays the role of Veronica Castillo. Ladies and gentlemen, Lily Santiago. And Lily is killing the role of Veronica. She's doing big things on that show. If you haven't, make sure you watch Brea once again on NBC, Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a show, if you ever like the show Land of the Lost, or if you like a show that takes you through time travel from prehistoric times to past times, you're going to love this show. Make sure you catch up with it. So we're going to kick it with Lily. She's going to talk about her theatrical career. She's going to talk about her television career also, and more. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and enjoy Ms. Lily Santiago. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Coop. I'm so happy to be here talking to you.
Yes. How's your day going so far?
It's good. Today's my day off. I'm currently doing a play in DC. So Mondays are the day off of the week. Otherwise, we do 8 shows a week. So it's nice to... It was a rainy day, so I sort of just sat on the couch and relaxed.
Loving the life. That's what I'm talking about. Now, Lily, like I told everybody worldwide, you know, you're doing a lot in your career right now. Your career is nowhere close to being over. You having a very successful career. So I want to say congratulations to you from that off the jump.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, Lily, for the people that's just recognizing or learning about you for the first time, when did you first realize that you wanted to become an actress?
So I'm blessed enough to come from an artist family. Mm-hmm. So I was sort of surrounded by theater and acting and all sorts of arts growing up, but I never thought it was something that I could do. It was sort of just a career that I saw my dad doing or I was surrounded by. And then applying for high school, there's a performing arts high school, LaGuardia in New York. And I sort of thought, hey, that could be fun, spending half my day doing the arts. So I auditioned, got in, and I said, you know what, I'll go. And it was there when I first started learning a lot about acting that I decided, you know what, I got to do this.
Wow. Now, what type of hurdles did you go through to get to where you are today?
It's been interesting. I think I've worked the summer jobs that you do to make money. You know, I started working when I was 16. But after graduating from college, I went to Northwestern. Mm-hmm. I sort of just started right away in the theater. I think I'd spent, including high school, because I really attribute a lot of my training to my high school experience, which is amazing because you're like, 14 to 18 years old, and to be racking in all that valuable information was amazing. So I think the hurdles were just in training. The hurdles were just in self-doubt, in knowing the challenges of this business and saying, I don't care, I have to do this. But I was lucky enough to sort of just start off straight out of school professionally.
Mm-hmm. Now, Lily, I tell a lot of people on past shows, I feel that, and it's just my personal opinion, if you agree, great. But I tell people that when you have a love for something, it's going to hit you at a young age and it's going to stick with you throughout, just like how you say you went to school and you learned it, and you know your hurdles, you actually got a job and you still took care of school and you took care of college, and look at you, you're still doing it today. So I tell people all the time, if you have a love for something, it's going to stay with you. It definitely will.
I agree because I think if you find that passion for something, even if you're trying to veer yourself in a different direction, there's just this like nagging thing in the back of your mind and in your heart where you're like, I can't let that go. And if you can't let it go, then you know you have to do it.
So true, so true. Now, speaking of, you know, you said you give a lot of credit to your school for the acting and everything. Um, did you have any mentors that help you out through your stages to where you are?
Right now, I'm sort of, because I was thinking about this. I had looked at some of your previous interviews, and I love when you ask that question. And truthfully,
Mhm.
I have been so lucky to work with so many incredible actors and directors that every production I'm a part of, theater, TV, my peers become my mentors. I gain so much knowledge from the people that I work with, and I also, as I mentioned before, my father is an incredible actor, director, writer, and I'm so lucky that I have this resource in him. That any doubts I have, any questions I have, I could just call him up on the phone and get some really sound advice because he's a mentor for a lot of people, and I just get to call him dad. So I'm lucky in that way.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, you know, a lot of people, like I said, they know you from La Brea, but you've been doing things before La Brea. So that's what I want to talk about. Now, let's talk about this Broadway that you've been doing. So, were you nervous or were you excited to jump into Broadway?
So I must tell you the truth. I have never actually been on Broadway itself.
Oh,
I have
really?
been off Broadway. I have done regional. I've done a lot, but I've not yet made it to Broadway. But I will.
Yes, you will. But I always thought, you know, like the regional plays and stuff, I thought it was always connected to Broadway into a certain
some
type of way.
some regional plays do go from here to Broadway. And some off Broadway plays go off Broadway to Broadway. It's sort of, there's always the chance. But it's not frequent, I wouldn't say.
Okay.
Um, I yeah, I sort of found this love for Shakespeare um, in school, and I studied in London for a semester studying Shakespeare, and my first play out of school was in the ensemble of Othello at Shakespeare in the Park, which I don't know if you know about Shakespeare in the Park in
I
New
do.
York, but
Mhm.
it is my favorite thing that happens in that city. It's a massive outdoor theater, and every single person there wants to be there because you either wait in line for a free ticket or you pay a lot of money to be a subscriber. And so
Mhm.
everybody in that audience wants to be there, and the energy is so palpable. So that's where I started off in the ensemble, and I was sitting in rehearsal every day. I was understudying someone, and I was just soaking in the talent of these people, the way that people rehearse things, the way that they absorb a script.
Mhm.
And I learned so much. And from there, I've gotten to work with a lot of generous, kind, extremely talented people. I've done two all-female productions of Shakespeare plays. Um, it's just been an adventure.
Wow. And that's what I was about to ask you, Lily. Can you tell the people that's watching worldwide right now some of the plays that you have been in?
Absolutely. So it started with Othello, the ensemble of Othello. I got to play Emmy in A Doll's House Part 2, which is a gorgeous play. And I did that in New Jersey. And I was in Romeo and Juliet at the Huntington Theater in Boston. So I got to play Juliet. I did a different kind of Juliet. I wasn't your typical like, times are changing. So that was really fun. And to take a script that huge and make it my own, and really I gained so many friends from that experience too, because we just had to lean on each other. It's a massive play. um Romeo and Juliet, I did Measure for Measure at the Public Theater in New York.
Mhm.
What am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. Oh,
That's
I've done
one you know a
Beth
lot.
in New York.
Yep.
I did Schoolgirls, or the African Mean Girls play in Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
These are I'm just listing my resume now.
That's what I'm talking about. The resume is big. The resume is big. Now
It's growing.
yes, I'm in North Carolina, so I would love to go, check that out because I've always heard about, Shakespeare in the Park, and I heard it always grew a big crowd, like all the time. That's what I've heard.
Such an amazing story. So I was an usher at Shakespeare in the Park for 2 years during high school. And so in that time, you just get to sit there in the audience every show and just watch it come to life. And there was one show, Comedy of Errors they were doing, and it started pouring rain. And when it pours rain, everything stops because it's dangerous with the mics, with the everything. So everything stops. And a lot of the audience leaves. It was not going to stop raining. The actors came out on stage and they said, "Who wants us to keep going?" And the half the audience that was left, they were like, "Whoa!" Everybody, the actors just said, "Forget about your seats. Just move as close as you can because we cannot use mics." The audience piled into the front of this theater, and in the pouring rain, the actors did the rest of the play because everybody just wanted to see it, wanted to do it, wanted to be together and make theater. It was magic.
Whoa. Now, you know what? That's when you know you have a true love. And I'm talking about from both ends, from the characters or the actors and actresses all the way up to the people that's watching, that's out there. They didn't want to leave and they want to see it.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Now, Lily, I've asked this question before, not to you, but to some people in the past, but I want to ask you, television to theatrical, which one do you feel more comfortable with?
Oh.
Because these are two different monsters.
Oh, exactly. So I come from theater. So theater is my heart. Theater is my soul. I can invest in a different way when I'm doing a play. You really, no doubt, every play you do, you're making a family because you need to. And night after night, you have to listen, you have to respond. TV, you do one scene maybe 50 times, and then it's done, and you never do it again. And the timing is different, everything's different. But what I find amazing, I learned this in high school actually, is somebody said, acting for theater is like a giant cup of coffee. Giant cup of coffee. Acting for screen is like a shot of espresso. It's the same amount of energy. It's just different sizes.
Wow.
And that's why I can't choose. And I think also in order to have a successful career, I need to do it all. And I want to do it all because I love the difference in the art forms. And there are different challenges that they pose. But it's the same amount of energy. It's the same amount of soul investment. It's just, instead of going, what? I'm going,
I get it. I get it. Now, you know what? We will talk about La Brea in 1 minute. But before we do that, I want to talk about, because you brought him up a while ago. That's your father. And a lot of people probably don't know this. You have a twin brother.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Now, big shout outs to Trey. I just got to go get it out of there. There you go. Now, let's talk about this autobiography that you was in. What was it called? Lackawanna Blues? Is that the name of it? Yeah, I think that was one of your father's joints right there, correct? That showed on HBO. Now, how excited were you to be into that?
You know what's wild is I think I was like 7 years old.
You were real young.
And I was really excited to go to work with Dad. I didn't even think really about being in it. And I had my twin brother, Trey, as you mentioned, with me. And the kid, Marcus, who was playing my dad, essentially, just as a young man. He was like 10 years old. So the three of us basically used this set as like a playground. You should have seen George C. Wolfe trying to direct these three kids, We're just like, oh, I was like, get serious. You're really sad right now, And you're like, oh, yeah. I didn't really process it as acting, if I'm honest, at the time. It wasn't something that I was thinking about. It wasn't something I was considering. It was just so fun to use a set as a playground, to be able to mess up Dad's work for a day,
Let's make sure Dad don't hear that part. Well, too late now. Go make sure he watches
It's
it.
happening.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, worldwide, once again, as you see, Lily, she has started this thing at a young age. And you see, she went on her dad's set, tried her best to tear it up. Hey, you're 7, you want to run, you want to have fun. Why not? That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, let's talk about it. This show that you are on, good gosh, I'm up to date on it. I'm up to date. I think the world is up to date on this. NBC hit La Brea. You play Veronica Castillo. Now, how excited were you to get that role?
I think I broke the walls of my house with my screaming. I honestly, as an actor, I think the majority of us, we have goals and you reach the next one and then you feel like you're starting from 0.
Mm-hmm.
And my next goal was to break into the TV world because it feels so impossible when you're outside of it. In any aspect of this business, I think when you're on the outside, it feels impossible to get in. And then once you're in, you feel how small it actually is. And you realize all the different connections that you've made that have gotten you to where you are. And I was not expecting it at all. I had a crazy week of auditions. I had like 5 or 6 auditions that same week. And if I'm honest, La Brea sort of slipped my mind because I had other auditions that were like pages and pages, and La Brea was a shorter audition. So last minute I was like, oh, we got to get this in. Recorded it real quick. I was like, no, I feel good about it. Sent it in, let it go, because you also send it in, you got to let it go because you don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Now, you know what? Season 2 of La Brea. Now, people that have not seen this show, you need to watch it, for one. Number 2, you're seeing how Lily is right now. When you watch, Lily and Veronica are 2 different people. Yeah. And that's what I want to talk about. How do you go from this charismatic woman that we're seeing right now to someone that's holding a lot of grief on the inside, and you play that role to the T? Now, I will say this without spoiling anything because I can't really spoil much, but my opinion, her family has deep, dark secrets on La Brea that haven't even been opened yet, that we don't even know about, because you're looking at the main characters of what this whole other family is doing, trying to get back into the present day time. But Lily is in the background. Sorry, Veronica is in the background, and she's got her best friend, and you have to follow and watch on season 2. Well, 1 and 2. Season 1, her friend is young. Season 2, come back as an adult. Lily is like everywhere, holding something in her mind. You look like you're so deep-minded. Tell us more about Veronica. What can we expect out of Veronica? And tell us, for the people that have not seen Veronica before, what to expect.
You know, I really appreciate what you said about the difference between me and Veronica. And I think that goes back to the audition and why I let it go, because I was like, that's not me. And it was such a pleasure and a privilege to be able to play a role that is completely different from who I feel I am. Now, like you're saying about the family, some things are written in your backstory. Some things I find out right when I get the script. So I didn't know, and I have to play it like I've been existing this way my whole life. But I had to create a really deep backstory for myself in order to do justice to this character who is extremely traumatized. She has had nothing but a life of struggle and pain. And so finding the moments where I can let that go and let levity in, that's been really fun. I think she's a turmoiled young woman, but at the same time, she's a young woman. So, you know, how much does she carry with her? How much does she fight to let it go? What does she want to be involved with? Who does she like? Who does she not like? How does that express itself? Is she a violent person because of her background? Or is she a tender person? And like, what's learned behavior and who is she without that learned behavior? So it's been so fun to just navigate all of that and talk through it with scene partners and directors and writers. It's challenging, but it's wild, obviously, but it's real fun.
Now I'm trying to go back in memory. Wasn't it? And please correct me if I'm wrong, Lily. Season 1, episode 1. Didn't Veronica's father get taken away by like a saber-tooth tiger or a wolf or something? It was something.
It was a wolf. So the man that she falls down the hole with, who she says is her father, and the girl that she's with, who she says is her sister, all fall down together. Immediately there's a giant wolf attack and he gets bit and dragged away.
And it seemed like you or Veronica has been in, and I understand why, because if you bring this into reality, you just saw your father get dragged away by a wolf. You gonna be in a blah type of mood, you know. I mean, I know I would. That hurts. That really hurts. Now, I got a personal question, and I hope you can answer this. I really do.
Me too.
Okay. Last episode, you remember the swarm of bees or wasps? What were they? What were they? I forgot the name. What were they really called?
Oh man, I don't know. The character Scott is the one who's always saying the actual names of stuff.
Yeah.
Just the giant wasps, the historical giant wasps.
We're gonna call it that, the giant wasp. What did you all use to make it seem like they were around you? Because you played the part like they were really there. Can you pull the cover back a little bit and
I
tell
cannot
us?
wait to tell you what this was. And you know what I'm gonna tell you? I'm gonna start with the wolves and then I'm gonna go to the wasps.
Okay.
The wolves are either a giant statue of a wolf that you look at for eyeline, and it's just one, or it's a man wearing a complete blue suit over his whole face, his body, his toes, running on the ground like he's a wolf.
Green screen.
So the wasps, we had a little model of the size of them, so we knew how big they were. And it was on like a wand. And if we needed to have the same eye line, somebody would stand there with the thing.
Wow.
Otherwise, it was the air. Coop, it was the air. We were looking at the air like,
wow. You really played it. You really played it. And I'm not gonna lie, I was not gonna blink because I want to know who's gonna take that injection shot. I really was. I was like, who's gonna survive in this?
That was
now,
tough.
Here's the question. And you're not going to answer this, Lily. I'm talking to people worldwide right now. That's right. Keep your mouth shut on this. Is Lily's sister really, Veronica's sister really dead? Is she? We saw her not take the shot. We saw her fall out in Veronica's arms. We saw Veronica in sorrow. Now, ladies and gentlemen worldwide, you're going to have to answer that question. You're going to have to actually continue to watch to see. But now I want to ask you something, Lily.
Mm-hmm.
If she is gone, is there a possibility we will see her in adult or childlike in flashback sequences? Is there a possibility?
My answer to that is there is always a possibility, because La Brea is La Brea. There is always a possibility. We have time travel. We are in prehistoric times. People went to 1988. We got 2023. We have all sorts of times, all sorts of holes opening up all over the place that people come through, leave through. Anything is possible, in my opinion. And I'm excited to know what people think, because I think some fan theories are really hysterical, but also accurate.
I agree. Now, ladies and gentlemen worldwide, make sure you watch La Brea. What is it? Tuesday night?
Tuesday nights at 9.
At 9 o'clock. Also catch it on Peacock. You got it both ways. So make sure you catch up with La Brea. I don't want you to watch it before me. No, I'm lying. Watch it before me if you can. Watch it with me. I watch it live. That's when I watch it. I have Peacock, but if I'm out or I have a show, I always catch up to it on Peacock. Make sure you check it out. Big shout outs to the whole cast and crew of La Brea. All of you guys are doing a fantastic job. Pass that word on to them, Lily. Make sure you do that. Yes. Now, Lily, are there any other projects that you're working on that you'd like the world to know about?
Currently, I'm doing another Shakespeare play right now in Washington, D.C. I'm doing King Lear, and I'm getting to play Cordelia. which is a role that I've had my eye on for like 10 years. So it's really exciting. And we have Patrick Page playing King Lear, who is just a legend of the theater. So it's been really exciting. It's been challenging, especially like we were talking about before, going from TV to back to theater. And I hadn't done theater all of COVID. So it's been 2.5 years since I did a play. And I was thrust right back into the whole pace of it, into the emotional depth that's required. It's been amazing. Yeah.
So it's a saying like this for theatrical also. It's like riding a bike. You will never forget.
I think thanks to training, yes. And I think I'm learning now that I have things that I'm reminding myself of what I need to do in order to get myself into the emotional state to do a 2.5-hour play. Because it's not the same as sitting on set for 3 hours and somebody saying, oh, come on, we need you now. You got to say your line. And you just show up and you're like, wait, and then you're done. This is a whole Shakespeare play. So it's a muscle. It's like you need to re-strengthen the muscle, but it is always there.
Wow.
And I'm here right before I head back to Australia to film season 3 of La Brea.
That's right. It is filmed in season 3. And ladies and gentlemen, Lily didn't tell you this, but I've heard about this. She's out there playing with the kangaroos and stuff around there. She is like sightseeing while she goes back to the prehistoric times. I mean, that's called multitasking. That is multitasking 101. You can't learn that in school.
No,
you can't. You
gotta find your love for the world on your own.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, Lily, what is the best way for everyone to follow you on social media so they can keep up with you with everything that you got going on?
I would say on Instagram, it's Lily_Santiago.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow her on social media. You never know what she's going to do next. Will she take a picture of the kangaroo? Will she take a picture of herself in the pouch of a kangaroo? Will she ride the kangaroo to La Brea to prehistoric times? And then you got people trying to figure out, why is there a kangaroo mixed in with the wolves and the saber-tooths and the giant wasps? If you see the kangaroo, it's Lily's fault. It wasn't supposed to be there, but Lily brought it on set. And guess what? They're going to use it. I guarantee you. Yes, and there's not going to be a man in a blue suit. This is going to be a real kangaroo. That's what I'm talking about. Now, Lily, what advice would you give any male or female that wants to become a successful actor or actress?
I think my first step of advice would be study. I've talked about it a lot already. I think there's so much, people think anyone can be an actor. And I think if you are a human, you have it in you to be an actor, but that's not all it takes. It's a lot. You have to be able to find the techniques in order to act, but also in order to handle your life as an actor. The work that we do is incredibly emotional. It's vulnerable. It's scary, and you have to be willing to just lay it all out there in front of an audience of hundreds of people, or with a camera directly in your face, knowing it's going to be broadcast to the world. So the more training you have and the more prepared you are for all of those things, and the more you can build a toolbox to have all of these skills waiting for you. That is the biggest piece of advice I could give. Study.
That's what I'm talking about. Now,
make friends. Do it. Make stuff on your own. Be inspired by yourself and the people around you. Like, use people. Make stuff together. Make art.
That's so true. Now, Lily, I've been in 2 or 3 indie movies, so I know how that is. Being on set, being in front of the camera, and being behind the camera. You're like 20 steps up past me. You're on national television where it's got to be seen weekly. You got to bring your A game.
Yeah,
you definitely do.
Hey, you've reached my next step. Is I want to do an indie movie. That's what I want to do.
Nice. Okay, I like that. Now, Lily, this is the last segment of the show. It's called Take the Floor. You have up to 2 minutes to say whatever you want. Lily Santiago, take the floor.
Thank you. Well, first I want to talk about animals, because you just got me thinking about the kangaroos. And I just want to say that I think, there was a crazy time when a kangaroo did run through set and everybody went wild. And I'm just saying that it's really fun to be out there filming in Australia because all the animals are really wild. The next thing I want to say it goes back to what I was just talking about. And it's that I think there's so many people who get disheartened by this business because it's easy. It's easy to get down about it. It's tough. It's harsh. It's judgmental. And I just want to say, if this is what you want to do, you can do it. You need to believe in yourself. You need to not be your harshest critic, because usually we are. And as much criticism as you give yourself, you need to find a way somehow to give yourself that amount of love, because you are your best friend, and you can also use your friends. It's important to have a support system, to have family. Mine's my family, my partner, my friends that become family. Use your support system, and also find a way to believe in yourself. Have your core. You're strong enough to do it. You can do it.
Wow. That was awesome. Lily, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I would love to have you back on in the future.
Oh, thank you so much, Coop. It has been an absolute pleasure meeting you and being and talking with you. I just feel like we could keep talking.
We could. We definitely could. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, make sure you catch La Brea. If you're in the DC area, and you can catch this theatrical event that Lily is about to do, make sure you go there. Make sure you bring your family, your friends, even bring your haters. You want everyone to come out there to watch it. Yeah. Also, once again, season 2, La Brea, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. NBC. Also, Peacock. Follow Lily on Instagram. You do not want to miss anything that she's going to do. Once again, when she put a kangaroo in the headlock, when she bring another one on set, I'm still blaming her for doing that. She said one came on set. I think she did it. But don't worry, Lily. I ain't gonna tell on you. Big shout outs to, once again, the cast and crew of La Brea. All right, people. Make sure you get ready for the next episode of the Big Scoop with Coop. My next guest on the Big Scoop with Coop is, you know I don't announce my next guest. You better make sure you stay tuned. You follow me on social media. Follow me on Instagram at the Big Scoop with Coop. All right, people. Until the next time on the Big Scoop with Coop. Peace.